all right there. If you've been injured in an accident up here in Scotland, you're probably sitting there thinking, what on earth happens now? It can feel like a total maze, I get it. But don't you worry, we're about to make it all crystal clear. Let's get right into it. Look, it's a really confusing time after an accident. You're trying to get better, and on top of that, you've got this legal process that just seems full of jargon and, well, unknowns. But honestly, it's not as scary as it sounds. We're going to walk through it together, step by step, so you know exactly what to expect. So here's our game plan. First, we'll cover how you even start a claim. Then, how we actually build your case. After that, we'll talk about the back and forth of negotiation. We'll even look at what happens if court is needed. And finally, the bit you're waiting for, the outcome. A nice, logical path, one step at a time. Right then, first things first. Every single claim in Scotland, doesn't matter if it's big or small, it all kicks off with a simple look at what's happened. It's really just about getting the basic facts down on paper. Now, you need to listen up because this is probably the most important, time-sensitive bit of the whole thing. In Scotland, you have a strict 3-year deadline from the date of the accident to either sell your claim or get it into court. If you miss that window, well, your claim is gone, for good. It's called the limitation period, and it is the absolute first thing any solicitor is going to check. It's like the starting gun for everything else. So, once we know you're within that 3-year limit and you've got a solicitor on board, the real work begins. This is where we start building the foundations of your case, gathering up all the crucial bits of evidence to show what happened, and more importantly, how it's affected you. The easiest way to think about how your claim is valued is to picture it being held up by 2 big pillars. These are the 2 different types of compensation you can claim, and your solicitor's job is basically to make both of these pillars as strong as possible with solid proof. Okay, so what are these pillars? Well, on one side, you've got something called solatium. It's a proper Scottish legal term, and all it means is compensation for your pain and suffering, the actual injury itself. Then on the other side, you have special damages, and that's for every penny you're out of pocket because of the accident. Simple as that. And here are some real-world examples of what special damages actually covers. It's not some abstract legal idea. We're talking about lost wages from being off work, the cost of physio, prescription fees, even the bus fare or petrol money for getting to your hospital appointments. Literally any expense that's a direct result of the injury gets added to this pile. All right, so you've got your medical reports, you've added up all your financial losses. What's next? Well, now it's time to talk to the other side, which is usually an insurance company, and get them to agree on 2 things: who is to blame and what's a fair payout. This is the negotiation stage. Now, I want you to have a good look at this number. Over 90%. That's how many personal injury claims in Scotland get sorted out just through negotiation. They never see the inside of a courtroom. I know the thought of going to court is a huge worry for people, but the reality, it's actually pretty rare. And during all this back and forth negotiation, you have to remember this. It's your case. Your solicitor is there to be your expert guide. They'll tell you if an offer is a good one or a daft one, but at the end of the day, you're the boss. You're the one who says yes or no. You are always in the driver's seat. So what about that other 10%? What happens if you just can't agree on a fair figure? Well, that's when you have to start the formal court process. But again, it's probably not as dramatic as you're picturing it. The word you'll hear bandied about is proof. It's just the Scottish legal name for a civil trial. It's not some big criminal case with a jury. It's a hearing where a judge, or a sheriff, as we call them, just listens to the evidence from both sides and makes a final decision. That's all it is. And here's another thing. Even when court proceedings get started, it doesn't automatically mean you'll end up at a proof. It really just puts a formal timetable on everything. There are stages for written arguments, for officially swapping evidence, and all the while, those negotiations are almost always still happening in the background. Loads of cases settle even after they've gone to court, but before that final trial date ever arrives. Okay, we're on the home straight now. Whether your claim gets settled in negotiations or decided at a proof, we eventually get to the final outcome. And that brings us to the 2 big questions everyone has. How long does it all take, and what happens with the money? This is the one, isn't it? And it's the toughest question to answer because honestly, every single case is unique. But what we can do is look at some general timeframes just to give you a realistic idea of what you might be looking at. So as you can see, it can vary a lot. If you've got a straightforward case, say the other side admits fault right away and your injuries heal up pretty quick, you could be all settled within 6 to 12 months. But for more complex stuff, maybe where they're fighting you on who's to blame, or you've suffered really serious injuries, it can take a few years. The biggest single thing that affects the timing is your medical recovery. And this quote right here is exactly why it can take time. A good solicitor will never, ever rush you. They will always want to wait until the medical experts can say for sure what your long-term outlook is. Because you have to remember this. Once you accept that final settlement check, that is it. It's over. You can't go back for more money later, even if things get worse. It's about getting it right, not just getting it done fast. So there you have it. From that first phone call right through to the final payment. It's a clear, structured process. It's designed to get you what you're entitled to. Yes, it can take a wee bit of time, but it's a path that you'll have experts guiding you on every step of the way. Now that you know what the journey looks like, the only question is, are you ready to take that first step?